Hi, I'm Austin Higgins. I'm going to take you through my handwritten product requirements templates. These templates are designed for anyone with any background to come up with, document, and define new technology product ideas. After you have an idea of what you want to build and who it's for, what kind of problems you're trying to solve, and you have a template that you can start explaining to other people, you may want to look at what are some tiers of the product that you want to build. This is a little different than, a lot of people think of an MVP, minimally viable product, or minimally marketable features, an MMF, or minimally viable segment. There's a lot of different ways to think of, tactically, what are you going to build first, and tactically, how are you going to market it. But instead, just think big picture. What are some things that you want to start with in your product? What are some things you want to build on and potentially do later? You can do all of these all at once, or you can just do a piece of them or rearrange them. The point of the new product tiers is to think through conceptually, what do you want to start with and where do you want your product to grow to? Ideally, this would be influenced by market research, interviews with customers, feedback, real data. But in the beginning, once again, just think big picture. There are really three different types of tiers for products, or your core features. So what's the basic function your product exists to serve? What problem does it solve? What does it do very simply and very well? Then there are optimizing features. So how does your product evolve to solve additional or adjacent problems? So how can it solve things that are around your basic problem? And then there are differentiating features. So how is your product superior to all the alternatives? How does it really stand out? Oftentimes, products will launch with just the core features done really well, and over time, they'll get to optimizing and differentiating. Sometimes, products will launch all the way at differentiating, and it has everything built in. There's no wrong way to do it. This is just a way to think through. So with our product, the budget tracker, we'll start with the core features at the bottom. Then we'll go through optimizing and differentiating. So our core features, users will be able to track their spending, display categories of where their spending is, and show their account balances over time. It's very basic. That we believe will help them solve the problem of taking care of their financial health. But as we think, how could we optimize? How could we be better or look at some other things around just tracking some spending? Maybe it would be to give some credit recommendations. So if people are spending a certain amount of money in certain areas, maybe you can give them a special offer for a new credit card. If someone spends a lot on airfare, for example, recommend some credit cards that are kind of optimized for travel spending. Or show some really specific data trends. Instead of just showing account balances over time, maybe look at down to the penny of very specific categories and geographies and all this other information. So that's a way to be a little better at solving the core problems. Then from a differentiating feature, so how can this stand out, among everything else? Perhaps the product could have an investing component. That is another area of financial health. It has nothing to do with budgeting and tracking spending and historical information, but it's more of kind of being a lot more profitable with your money. So maybe adding a whole other investing realm to the product, or a way to create bank accounts within the product. So instead of just pulling information, to create partnerships with certain banks. As you can see, these aren't necessarily things that have to be done. These are just ideas of how we started with tracking spending. That was our initial problem we wanted to solve for certain people. So we have our core features of tracking spending. But as we brainstorm and think through what else could this product do, we come up with some ways it can stand out, either a little bit or a whole lot in our optimizing and differentiating features. Next, we're going to look at the new product scope.